Good morning. Welcome to episode 169 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog at thecornerofknitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. We currently have a craft along that is coming to an end, and then we have a team for the Olympics for the Ravelinic Games coming up. So there's lots to see and do in the Ravelry group. If you haven't come over, please come check us out. So like I said, we have a craft along that's just about to end. That is the Selfish Craft Along for January. That is make something for yourself. And I call it a craft along because it is all the crafts: crochet, knitting, sewing, spinning, weaving. And all you have to do is post a photo of a finished object that you have made for yourself in January. Works in progress are okay, but at least some portion of the work should be done in January. That ends on January 31st, which is this coming Wednesday, and on February 1st or 2nd, I will draw for prizes. I showed those prizes last week. It was 2 skeins of yarn from, I have them right here. Okay, it was 2 skeins of moonshine from Juniper Moon Farms and a bag of fiber from Southern Cross Fiber. If you are a spinner, I'm going to send that to you to spin. If you are not a spinner and would like me to spin it, I will go ahead and spin it for you, although that will delay it getting sent out to you by a week or two. So that is what's going on here. It has been a pretty crazy week. My coworker was out unexpectedly, and there was lots going on, and there was lots going on with tech editing and all kinds of stuff, and we still don't have internet. It has been a week, and there is still no internet, and AT&T keeps promising us tomorrow. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week. I did get a bunch of knitting done because since there's no internet to peruse in the evenings, I have done that, but I also went to bed early a couple nights this week because I was so tired. So we'll see. It is bright and early on Sunday morning. It is about 8:30 in the morning, and I am recording now because I am going to a spinning Sunday. We have a spinning group in Kansas. It's mostly eastern Kansas. We kind of go from Kansas City all the way west to Topeka. Anyway, we are meeting today, and it is one of the more western locations of our group. So it's kind of an all-day adventure. We go meet for breakfast, and those of us who are here in Kansas City meet for breakfast at 10 or 10:30, and then we do our hour to 2-hour drive west. And then we spin all afternoon, and then we come home. So it should be fun. The weather is actually fine. It is in the 30s and 40s today, but there's no precipitation. So the drive should be very pleasant. January can be kind of problematic for that sometimes. So I'm excited and looking forward to that, and got up early so that I could podcast for you. Although, again, I'm not sure when you'll see this because I have no internet. So yeah. So let's keep going. The tea today is Adagio Tea's Masala Chai. This was one of the other things that Wes put in my Christmas stocking along with the teas. It is black tea, cardamom, ginger root, cloves, natural cinnamon flavor, and cinnamon bark. This is Adagio Teas. If you haven't ordered from them before, this is the sample size. Most of their samples are between $2 and $3 for a packet. It will get you between 5 and 10 cups of tea. It is a great way to try new teas because if you find something that you don't like, you are not out very much money and you don't have very much tea to drink, or you don't have to feel like you're wasting it if you toss it. The other thing you can do with tea that you don't enjoy drinking is you can dye yarn with it. I don't know if it's been a while since I did my tea dyeing experiments. They are on the blog, but you can dye yarn with tea. So that's just a thought if you have tea that you don't enjoy drinking. I am drinking it today in my roastery mug. That is actually a coffee place here in Kansas City, and they have an airplane hangar like factory. It's really cool, and I love this kind of camp mug. And I have not had the masala chai from Adagio Teas, but I feel like a broken record when I say I like black spicy teas, because I always talk about living spicy teas on the podcast, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. Yep. I added just a tiny bit of sweetener. You could probably add some milk if you wanted to. I am one of those heathens who does not put milk in my tea. And my friend Anna and I argue over that a lot. So let's talk about the knits. The one that has been in progress that you guys have seen for a while is, of course, my Advent blanket. This is the 10-stitch twist pattern by Frankie Brown, and I am using the Opal Advent minis that came in the calendar for this year. I just keep going and going and going. I have not measured it. I would guess it's about 3 feet across at this point. It is definitely, it is growing. It is still probably lap blanket sized. This is after this current mini that I just started last night, so I'm not very far into it. After this current mini, I have 2 more minis, and then the final skein that I wanted to use to do one complete round. So I'm getting there. I'm hoping, I was hoping to make the end of January. I'm not going to make the end of January. I might finish it next weekend. So, because I don't have any plans for next weekend as of yet. And I think I'm going to finish some of the other stuff I need to this week. So I'm hoping maybe next weekend. I'm going to work on this more today. So that is what I'm doing. I am excited. I'm ready to get it finished. I have really enjoyed knitting it, and particularly in the Opal yarns where it's like one more stripe, one more stripe, one more stripe, which is pretty much the whole darn project. But I'm excited to get it done and move on to other things because I have a ton of other things that I'm waiting to cast on and do, and the Olympics is coming and I want to get started on my Olympic project. So my goal actually is to, if nothing else, finish this before the Olympics. I want to start the Olympics mostly with my needles clear. I'll still have my mom's blanket on the needles, that's fine. If I have a pair of socks on the needles, that's fine too, but I would like to get some of these other projects done and out of the way. So again, this is the 10-stitch twist by Frankie Brown. I believe it is a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm using my Opal Advent Calendar Minis. It is a great project for this. And then I am using signature needles, 2.5mm, which I believe is a 1.5. And that is how the project is going. So I'm hoping that you will only need to see this once or twice more because I would like to finish it. I mean, I realize it's kind of fun to look at, so I'm probably not entirely boring you, but I would very much like to finish it. So as you can see here, it's wide, but it's definitely lap blanket sized. It's not going to be enormous, but it's kind of fun. So that is that one. Put that away. The second project that I worked on this week is one that I talked about last week. I talked about the Love Socks pattern by Devin Clement to make socks for Miss Roxy and Miles for Valentine's Day. And I am using, hang on, I've got it all in here. It's just a matter of pulling it out. I am using Dalegarn Baby Uli. That is what I've got here. Dalegarn Baby Uli. And a while ago, somebody posted a D-stash on Instagram, and it was just like a million balls of Dalegarn Baby Uli. Seriously, it was probably like 20 or 25 balls. And she was advertising like $10 plus the priority mailing. And I couldn't resist. And so I have like all the colors now. So that's what I've been doing. So I finished the first sock this week. I guess I have a couple of ends to weave in. I didn't quite weave all those in. But I finished the first sock for Roxy this week. It is super cute. I'm using pink and red. And the part that's hard to see is the heart on the heel. And I actually got the second sock to where I was doing the heel turn yesterday. So I'm going to show you on this one because it's much easier to see on this one. It's got a little heart on the heel. The heart is, okay, so the pattern is well written. I'm not really following the pattern. I'm basically doing my own sock, which my count happened to match up. The stitch count that I usually use happened to match up with the chart that she provides for the heel. Basically, it's kind of some discussion about how you can stripe your sock, and then it's this little chart for the heel. The heart is Intarsia. I did it in a combination of Intarsia and using a few floats in the back because I didn't want to do, for the little tops of the heart, I didn't want to have to start two separate things. So up there, I just stranded it and then did the Intarsia. It's a little bit of a pain in the you-know-what because it's done on the heel flap, so you have to do the Intarsia and color work back and forth. So for a little while, you have a lot of balls of yarn attached to this tiny little sock. But the effect is great, and I think she's going to love it. And while the first one was a little wonky, the second one I really nailed. So I am very pleased with this. I just need to finish the foot of this, and then I need to start on Miles' socks. And I am just knitting these socks on, I think these are zeros. Yes, these are zeros, 2mm. They're my Hiya. They are quite sharp. And I am working on these. So I'm going to finish Roxy's second sock this week, and then I need to go through, I think there is a skein of black in there. So I'm thinking about making Miles' socks black with red hearts on the heel and red cuffs and toes. So that should be super cute, and his should take me even less time, so I'm pleased about that. I should easily get these done and into the Valentine's Day boxes. Again, this is the sock that knits up, and you can see, like I said, it's a little harder to see, but there's that cute little heart on the heel. Oh, I think they're so cute, and I'm hoping Roxy is going to be delighted with them. Miles probably won't care, but I'm just making him a pair anyway. So that's the Love Socks by Devin Clement, and like I said, it is a free pattern. It is mostly just a suggestion with a chart. She starts with the adult pair and then has a link to a child pair on her blog. So that is what I'm doing. I'll probably have to adjust that slightly for Miles because it will be, the chart will be too big for him. So we'll just have to see. But there is a bunch of blank space around it, so I may just be able to put the heart on his, since I'll just remove some of the stitches from the sides. So those are the two things that I am working on. I have several things I want to do. I have some yarn that arrived yesterday that I need to turn into a hat. It is review yarn. I also decided that I want to make myself a hat, and I have this, actually I have them. Do I have it right here? No, I didn't. I put it... Oh, yes, I do, right here. I have this great skein of yarn that I bought at Rhinebeck. This is Cozy Colorworks. You can find them online. I actually used... the Vineyard was what I used to... Their fingering weight in the colorway Vineyard is what I used to knit my sister's hat. And that inspired me to go back to this fun skein that I bought at Rhinebeck. It is blues and turquoises. And blues and turquoise, blues and teals. And it is a worsted weight skein. It is 200 yards, and I wanted to make myself a big cozy hat with it. And I have been watching all of those cozy hats where they strand them with mohair, and in general, I don't like mohair, but I want a big cozy fuzzy hat, especially for the days that it's 0 degrees here. So I went to Eat Sleep Knit and ordered a skein of kid silk lace from Hedgehog Fibers in the colorway Jelly. And I wasn't sure that it would go, but it totally goes. And I also ordered a hot pink pom-pom. What I haven't decided is if I'm going to put the hot pink pom-pom on here, or if I'm just going to do a pom-pom out of the leftovers of this. But this is a project for me in the next month or two. So I won't be casting it on before the Olympics unless I finish all the socks and the advent blanket, and I have a couple days to kill before the Olympics. But that is something that's going to come up on the needles because I'm too excited about that. So I have that hat and the other hat, and then I have February's knit along in the Woolly Wonka Fiber Arts group. That's Anne, and I'm friends with Anne, and we have done we did a knit along together in my group last year. She is doing a year-long project with prompts, and February's prompt is either knit in pink or knit a cowl. And I have that skein of yarn that my boss brought me from Australia when he was over there. And I've been sort of remiss in not turning it into anything. I feel like I should, so that I can tell him about it and show him. So I picked out a cowl pattern, and that is also next up on the needles. So I have a couple hats, a cowl, and my Olympic sweater waiting in the wings, and I am eager to cast them on, but I'm going to try and keep my head down and for the next week and a half or so finish a few things before we move on. I also have my Christmas Eve cast on socks. I would love to finish those as well. So that's in the stack of things that I should finish before I cast anything new on. So let's go quickly to spinning, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, this is going to be a short one. I finished my double spin of that Hello Yarn Southern Cross fiber in the Wide Awake colorway, and it is glorious. It is blues and reds and pinks and kind of an orangey yellowy tan, and it came out. Sections of it are super barber pole. There are also some sections in it where the colors got together and coincided. I spun this in long color repeats. Basically, I divided each braid in half lengthwise. So like 4 long strips, because I had 2 braids. So 4 long strips that I spun straight through. And I don't know what the yardage is. Excuse me. It should puff up after the bath. It has not had a bath yet. I just skeined it off last night. My plan is to knit a foolproof with this, although several of you commented on it. So if any of you is interested in making this yours, let me know, because it would be a while before I cast on my foolproof, and I am happy to share if there is one of you out there who wants it. It is a double skein, so it would be more than my usual skeins in the shop. But if this interests you, I will be washing it and then posting some photos on Instagram in a couple days, and let me know. So that is what I finished spinning, and I have selected a braid to take with me today. This is from an old Hello Yarn Fiber Club. The bag is on the floor, that's why I'm looking. It is organic Polworth from November 2016. It is called Folklore, and it is pinks and blues and greens and kind of some of the swampy color here, and I think it's going to be really, really pretty. I'm going to take that with me today and get that started. The other thing that we're going to do today, which I love, is January is always Crazy Bat Club month. What we do is we all bring 4 ounces of fiber. Usually it's fiber that we, like, what was I thinking when I bought it, or something happened to it and it got a little felted, or it's crazy colors and they don't know what I'm going to do with it, or somebody handed it to me because they didn't know what to do with it. So you take fiber that is kind of unloved. It's the only time that we bring unloved fiber to these things. And what we do is everybody who wants to participate brings 4 ounces of fiber. We divide it into as many pieces as, we all divide our fiber into as many pieces as there are people who want to participate. And then we take all those bits of fiber and throw them on the drum carders. Because where we're meeting, the woman who owns the house, the woman whose house it is, has a bunch of drum carders. So we throw all our fiber onto the drum carders, and we each come home with bats made of the same fiber, although depending on how we put them on the drum carder and how much we blend them, and various things, order and how much we blend them and how much we put in, we all get bats that are from the same fibers, and then we can all spin them, and we come up with similar and yet entirely different yarns. So we have been doing this in Spin Group for years now, and I'm always excited, and I have some really rough fiber. I'm not really sure where I got it. It's like browns and greens, and really not my color, and it is, I don't even remember what the blend is, but it's super scratchy. So putting it in these bats makes it, blending it with a bunch of stuff that probably won't be scratchy will be better, but it fits all the categories for something that I would not want to spin myself, but I'm happy to share with the group. So that is the podcast for today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Thank you for spending some time with me. I am looking forward to closing out the Selfish Craft Along and gearing up for our team on for the Ravelinics Games. If you are interested in challenging yourself to do a project during the Olympics, come check out our Revelry group. There are very few rules as far as the Ravelinic games go, but check it out and please come join us. There will be prizes. It's super fun. It comes once every, well, okay, technically we have the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics, so it's every 2 years, but it is just a fun event to play along with and watch the Olympics too. So I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye!